The Fringe Podcast, Season 5, Episode 21. Feedback for Anomaly XB-6783746.
This is John Noble, and you're listening to the Fringe Podcast.
Support for the Fringe Podcast is provided by listeners like you and by this week's sponsor, Global Cash Card. Learn how Global Cash Card provides world-class solutions for pay cards, gift cards, per diem cards, flex cards, and more by visiting thefringepodcast.com/globalcashcard today. Welcome back to the Fringe Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the Fox television show.
It's Gary Shandling's show.
I do remember that. We watched a lot of that show
Did you?
as a kid. It seemed like we did.
Yeah.
It was a show that I didn't understand. It was clearly one that
grown-up show
for adults, but we watched it. Yeah.
I'm sad for you.
Well, thanks, Clint.
Speaking of sad, what do you say we get into our Bunsen burners?
Why does that make you sad? Because we only have 2 episodes of them left after this? Actually, no, one of them. One episode left of Bunsen Burners.
Also, we just want to go around the tables at our rewatch live and...
Yeah, that would take a long time and make for some awkward silence, which I know you love.
I do.
That's your shtick. But
That's
we probably
my
won't
shtick.
do that.
All right.
At the live finale party.
No, these ratings are sad. That's why it's sad.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, this is the feedback for Anomaly XB-6783746.
Uh-huh.
Episode 10 of Season 5. Let's get right to it.
Okay, let's do it.
Charlie from Virginia gave it 10. I love Nina. I miss Nina.
Algaron gave it 10. Tears for Nina.
New Dana gave it 6. I lose him either way. New Dana is not liking the season.
No,
I've
he's
noticed.
not. A Fleet Alex gave it 9. Nina's ain't afraid of no Baldy.
I ain't afraid of no ghost. Hey, Daryl.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I've told you this, but Busted makes me feel good.
Well, I've been meaning to ask you, are you the keymaster?
I am the gatekeeper.
I thought I was the gatekeeper.
Are you a product of Zool?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. Hydra Island gave it 9 chromosomal mistakes.
No One's Minion gave it 9.5. Daryl was right. Daryl was right. Daryl was right. Oh, Clint has to read this one.
Uh-oh.
The thing I was right on was that we would see September before the season was
I'm
out.
glad you brought that up because we did not.
We did.
We didn't.
We did.
We didn't.
We did.
We didn't.
We did.
We didn't. I said it doesn't count if it's in a flashback. Which this is a flashback.
It wasn't all.
Now, I will give you partial credit
Okay.
because we did get a new scene
Uh-huh.
with Donald,
Right.
who is not September.
He is September.
Well, he's the same person.
Donald
as September.
is September. Those were the words that Walter said. And we saw September raise his head up, too.
It's like Finkel and Einhorn, right?
Right, exactly. Your gun is digging into my hip.
Ugh. It is, but it isn't. And it was a flashback.
It
So-
was a flash something.
It was a flashback with new footage that we haven't seen before. So I'll give you partial credit.
All right. We didn't put bananas on it, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
this-
matter how
this-
much credit you're willing to give
You'll
me
get full credit if he shows up in any other way.
next week.
Yeah, which is likely, I would say, at
possible.
this point.
Yeah.
I would love that. Wouldn't you?
Oh, of course I would. Of course
Yeah.
I would.
Smiling Donald.
Yeah.
He
All
might
right.
be dead, though.
Might be.
Might be dead.
It was unexpected what happened to him.
It was. All right, Ducky is lost. Gave it 10. Nina in the lap with the revolver.
Oh,
Ouch.
wow. That's really good, Ducky, though. That's really good.
Oh,
Penny gave it 9.5. Freckly feeling observer children.
really, Daryl?
I'm sorry.
Do it right.
Penny, I'm sorry. Here we go. See, with these things, I can't. How is it? There we go.
There you go.
Penny. Penny gave it 9.5 freckly feeling observer children.
Waiting for Godot gave it 9 chromosomal purposes. I love it.
Sorry, I just
It
looked
never
into the
gets
chat room. Totally Addicted said that Clint may not be familiar with the term flash sideways.
What is that?
I'll explain it to you some other time.
Okay.
Let's see here. Did you do Waiting for Godot?
Yes.
Okay.
We're getting corrected in the chat room.
Oh?
Yeah. Apparently it's Godot.
What?
I would have never guessed that.
No, it's Godot.
Let's Godot.
Trust me.
Remember GoBots?
Yeah,
from
I
the
did.
80s?
The ripoff of Transformers?
That's right. Weren't they awesome?
That's all we could afford.
That's right. I could only afford the fake Transformers.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
goodness.
Oh, we got sidetracked. Straight Leet, with all the bunch of numbers,
Yes.
gave it 10 bananas for Clint.
I don't have to do any bananas.
No, we didn't have a banana bat on anything in this one.
Daryl is eating bananas.
Nope.
You are.
I'm not.
Because September was disproved as
he was
as the
not.
dove.
Absolutely not.
absolutely.
Oh, you're full of it.
Now, are we doing bananas if we're wrong?
No.
Or if the other one is right?
Only if one of us is right.
Okay.
If there's no way we can both be right.
Okay.
But if we're both wrong or it doesn't ever get proven one way or the other, then
Well, unless it turns out that Broyles bleached his skin and became September.
it's possible. Broyles is bald.
He is bald. He's already got the hair thing going.
Yeah.
He might be an observer.
He could be.
All right.
That's what Peter said in the LSD episode.
Yeah.
You're bald.
You're bald.
You could be an observer.
Penny, you already did that one.
I
Where
did.
Where am I? I'm at Sci-Fi Fan 30. 10 Daryl validations. False.
Melchizedek gave it 8.5. I didn't go to evil medical school for 7 years to be called Mr. Evils.
That's right. Yogabon gave it 9. Nina can still surprise you.
Dr. Zero Fights gave it 9.2036. I am a doctor.
Foxy Fringe Chick gave it 9.5. Wait, Donald is September?
Scaper gave it 9. Nina's protecting the kid observer.
NYC Fringe Math Geek gave it 6 for the episode until Nina Death Scene. 9.75 from there on. I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Jenny from Ohio gave it 9.5. Nice knowing you, Nina.
Boston Red Vines gave it 9.42 Vulcan Mind Melds.
Janice LG gave it 9.75. We love you, Nina Sharps.
Linda is Lost gave it 10 Black Labs. Great dogs.
The ozone layer gave it 10 flashback-inducing touches to the cheek.
Little Hill with the Elsa's ones. Except for the first.
Yeah.
Which is capitalized. Gave it 9.0. Donald is September and Daryl is Daryl.
That's right. I'm a doctor. And Little Hill and Mrs. Little Hill have punched their ticket to Oklahoma City.
Ooh.
They're going to be at the finale party.
I'm excited.
Raven Mist gave it 10. I knows.
Tool's Eye gave it 9.5 Angry Lizard People.
Zeppelin Doctor gave it 9.9. One Anomaly under Spock with liberty and justice for all.
That's nice. Isn't that the name of one of the episodes coming up?
Liberty is, yeah.
Yeah. Totally Addicted gave it 9.5. Lovely is in the little moments.
Kalina gave it 9.75. Nina's Ultimate Redemptions.
Boston Red Vine's husband gave it 9.5 Hastings Pudding. Did he get his meat?
I'm sorry?
Did Hastings get his meat?
I'm not sure what you mean.
How can he have his pudding if he doesn't eat his meat?
I don't want to talk about Hastings
He
pudding.
doesn't eat his meat. He doesn't get any pudding.
Expendable Gerbil
Oh my
gave
goodness.
it 9.0 Bullets That Saved the World. Again, was that a movie reference I was supposed to get?
It was a song reference, Daryl.
Oh. By.
Pink Floyd. Come on.
I'm not real familiar with Pink Floyd's music.
Little Hill says he's worried that Clint might hug him. Might. Okay. I'm Donald the Pie. Gave it 7.18 C6. Head tilting explanations. Remember, a good last 15 minutes do not make a good entire episode. Okay.
The Man Funk gave it 9.9. Best Nina speech of all seasons.
Highway 61 gave it 9.509 Viper victories.
Chantal, New York, gave it 9.5. Nina fans. Always loved her.
The Goat 26 gave it 9.5. What happened to the end of the worlds?
Scrabbled gave it 9.5. Kick Watermelons, Nina's.
Yeah. Fringe Peaks gave it 9.785. Vivid visual vindications for Vagindas. And Mr. Darno.
Alternicat gave it 9.5. Dr. Darrell's.
Trish Cape Cod gave it 10. Noble Dr. Darrell's.
Foamy Once gave it 10. Tie the crippled wheelchair-bound woman to the chairs.
Yeah, like she's going to get up and go anywhere.
I know, right?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hot Sauce gave it 8.5. Nina has always hated those Geico commercials. I mean, really? A lizard with a personality?
Nice.
Implausible.
Lost to Fringe gave it 9.5. Nina for the cause.
Langley gave it 9. Loves do not exist for them.
Tangier 14 gave it 9.5. Leapin' Lizards. I like animals. You're an animal. Pot/kettle moments.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm surprised she didn't break into song.
Me?
No. Me.
Oh.
Maureen Paolini gave it 10 tears for a fallen hero.
Jim in Wisconsin gave it 11. Mind-blowing Michael mind melds. Yes, mine goes to 11.
Well, that little bit of, when you need a little extra.
That's right.
You can turn it all the way to 11 just if you need a little bit extra.
Right. That's what it's there for. That sounded like Billy Crystal, but I don't know.
Have you never seen This Is Spinal Tap either? Daryl? Ugh.
I was hoping you would never ask me that question.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. I know what I just admitted to. I know the amount of nerd cred I just lost.
I don't know if I can be on this podcast.
That may be my most embarrassing moment of the podcast.
No, it's not that embarrassing.
Yeah.
It is pretty embarrassing, though.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Where were we? Kenny Chesney gave it 9.9999. I thought Donald was going to be Tom Brady.
Alt Emily gave it 9 societies for underappreciating aspirates. I'm getting lit up in the chat room.
Underappreciated asterisks.
I'm so sorry.
Bad Wobot gave it 9 Mind Link flashbacks.
Top Army Sarge gave it 10 hairs of Donald.
5 golden rings. Nightstar gave it 9 red-headed martyrs.
Bongela _ice gave it 9.99. Observers are lizards, except September, who looks great with hair and smiled just for us.
That's right. My name is Dr. Earl. Gave it 10 out of 10. Astrids could still be the mole. I'm holding out hope.
Or the mole boy.
Yes.
AJ in Nashville gave it 9.5 out of 10. My head was blown, which makes me happy, but so was Nina's, and that makes me sad, because I've always had a crush on Blair Brown since polyester was the bomb.
Wow.
Great Bunsen burner, AJ.
No kidding. Galt the Gray gave it 7 wonderful waffle sticks for Walking Walter.
Yeah, you have to be Galt the Gray now that the Hobbit's out.
That's right.
You have to revert back to the Gray. Darth Enzo, 9.8. Shocking sights shrouded by sheets. And finally,
The Lost Passenger gave it 9 chromosomal mistakes.
all right, lots of good Bunsen burners, mostly high. We had the occasional low rating there. Obviously, the ending would seem to be liked by all, but that wasn't enough to give it a high rating for everybody.
That's true.
But it's still overall, I think, one of the most highly voted episodes that we've seen. All right, man, you ready for some feedback?
Let's do this.
Okay. All righty. I got to tell you, Clint, we're doing the podcast on Saturday this week because tomorrow you're heading out to have Christmas in California with your family. And so we moved it up a day.
So please don't rob my house.
I'll be watching over your house.
Okay, thanks.
So if it's robbed, it's me.
Okay.
So because of the holidays, we moved the podcast up a day this week, and which gave our listeners less time to send in feedback.
So that means no written feedback. We're sorry, guys.
But in spite of the limitation on the deadline, we got in more feedback than we've received the last several weeks. And not all of it made the podcast. Some of it came in after I was able to do anything with it. We still have a full load of feedback. So thanks to everybody, to all the Bunsen burners and everybody who sent in feedback this week. Got some new folks even. But the first one's not a new person. It's from our friend Brandon, which is, what is he tonight? I am Donald of Pi.
Hello, Fringe Podcast. It is I, Donald, a.k.a. I am Donald, of Pi. I have been mostly silent as of late, but the time has come for me to talk about one of the major problems I have had with this season, pacing. This season has been having a lot of difficulty carrying the story forward with consistent momentum. Many episodes have been full of scenes where the characters just travel from one place to another on a scavenger hunt, and we still don't have the faintest clue how Walter is going to MacGyver together a solution to defeat the observers. And many of the characters have not had much good screen time. Astrid has disappeared for entire episodes, except for the occasional phone call. Olivia has spent most of the season combating her emotions instead of the observers. We saw Broyles once, and until that last scene, Nina served as little more than a procurer of essential technology. We have also had several episodes where some rather interesting developments happened at the end of the episode. But what about the rest of it? Did anything truly important happen in the first half hour of last night's episode? I miss the days when Fringe could produce episodes with consistent tension and story throughout. Now, we have the observer's idea of a roller coaster, a cart that limps along a dirt path, only to suddenly teleport us up to the top of a several hundred-foot drop, plunge halfway down, and then teleport back to the dirt path and slow speed with no regard for Thomas Newton's laws of motion. I am actually reminded of the TV series Torchwood, which had an excellent 5-episode arc with a tight story, Children of Earth, but completely fell apart when they tried to follow it up with a 10-episode story arc. I want to like this season, I really do. But now, I'm just hoping it doesn't end in a church, where Olivia looks into Peter's eyes and realizes that he's actually still in the machine, and the world was actually saved the whole time. Remember, your loyalty will be rewarded. Heed, obey, serve.
Well,
Eat pants now.
It's clear why Brandon doesn't like this episode. He's clearly an observer. He sees that their end is coming. They only have 3 episodes left until their demise is upon them. So naturally, he wouldn't like this season.
I can certainly understand his complaint about the pacing of this season.
Yeah.
It does seem like, if you go back and think about the episodes, I mean, there were episodes, particularly at the beginning of this season, where there was nothing that happened
Until the last 15 minutes.
Until the last 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the episode, was it the pilot?
The
or
Recordist.
The second one. Yeah, the Recordist is a great one, right?
Yeah. Well, and you didn't care for the pilot episode as much either, but because you didn't really have a whole lot until the very end.
Right.
I remember you saying that.
But I read an article today, and I wish I could link it. I may have to go dig for it here in a minute. where somebody was talking about the problems with the pacing this season, and they said that it appeared what the writers were trying to do is really draw a clear juxtaposition between the observers and our characters. You know, they have all these, what do you want to call them, quasi-emotional, you know, I always call them Michelle chats after Full House, where they would sit down with Michelle and tell her that stealing candy is bad. You know, where they're having those kind of chats, but it really kind of shows the humanity of the characters.
Right.
Juxtaposed with the cold, calculated, lizard brain-like actions of the observers,
Right.
to try and tie in what we're fighting for, what we're trying to preserve.
Right.
We're trying to preserve these human interactions and have faith in humanity rather than becoming like the observers. There has been this tension between becoming more like the observers and trying to destroy them and retaining our humanity this season. And I think that's not as exciting as the action sequences that happen towards the last 15 minutes of the episode. But at the same time, it's still important, in my mind, to the overall story.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see where you're coming from. I certainly see where Brandon's coming from. He's not alone. And Janice and Dana are in the chat room, and they largely share his opinion too. I didn't feel that way about this episode. I mean, I mentioned in our last podcast that I felt like the pacing was strong. It kept me on the edge of my seat most of the episode. I can't say that for every episode that we've had this season. And at the same time, you don't get the payoff at the end of the episode without the work that has happened leading up to that. That puts the context so that the end of the episode means something. That has to happen, you know, elsewhere for it to mean something when it counts. But having said that, I can certainly see why someone would like to have seen it handled a little bit differently. He talked about Broyles and Astrid and Nina not getting much screen time this season. We've talked about that as well, and I don't know why. I love all three of those characters. I love all three of the actors. So I want more of that. But
yeah,
you know, what are you going to do?
It's been a truncated season, so
yeah.
And it's got a limited budget.
True.
So you can't pay to have the same, you know, cast around for hours and hours.
Yeah.
To shoot multiple scenes. It's a lot cheaper to shoot with 3 or 4 actors than it is multiple ones.
It is. I don't know if that's the reason or not, but that's true. All right. Well, thank you, Brandon, so much for your feedback. I appreciate it. Let's move on to Charlie.
Hey, guys, it's Charlie in Virginia, and we're checking flights daily, but I don't think we can make it. Merry Christmas. And I did like Clint's theory of, you know, it's Walter has to go back and change time to prevent the observers, but I think they're going to go in the realm of this is just a genetic mutation, you know, after the Nina speech. And, you know, we were devastated after Nina died. I mean, she's wonderful. We think she's a fantastic actress. And to see Walter care like that, I mean, John Noble's the best. Okay, guys, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and see you in about 3 weeks, the next chat. Love you. Bye.
All right. We're really going to miss seeing Charlie.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed.
It is better to be red than dead.
Yeah.
It's better to be in the red. Wait, no. In the black.
In the black.
Than in the red.
Yeah.
But it is better to be in the red than dead.
Yeah. That's true, I guess. Yeah, so Charlie doesn't sound like he's going to make it to OKC. That's I'm bummed. I would love to have seen him.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of them paying to fly here, we should just take our budget and fly to see each one of them.
Yeah. That'll work.
We can buy one of those around the world tickets.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, let's do that because our budget is
huge.
That's right.
$10 million.
Yeah. You know, one of the things he talked about was the Nina death scene. Correct me if I'm wrong, Clint, but wasn't it the Amber timeline when we got the words Viper and her voice goes in my ear and rattles around in my head like
razor blades?
I know they kind of made up a little bit, but wasn't that in the Amber timeline when that happened? Which is the timeline we still find ourselves in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. they've come to terms with one another.
They have, and they've had some nice moments this season.
That's right, and there have been lots of moments they probably had not this season that have really helped.
Right, and they had a relationship. It was one of those things where they had a relationship before, they had a falling out, and then they've come back. But it was still a bit odd. All right, well, Charlie, thank you so much. Let's move on to Corey.
Hey, Clint. Hey, Daryl. It's the Drop Dead Sexy Voice here, a.k.a. Corey from Australia, or Lost Cause in the chat room. That was a bit of a mouthful. But anyway, new episode of Fringe. It was amazing. The whole thing with Nina sacrificing herself. What a great piece of writing that was. I didn't see that coming at all. Just so powerful. But I think the main thing I want to talk about is September. September is Donald. Very, very interesting. You know, I usually lean more towards Clint's theories when it comes to Fringe, but, you know, I am really, really starting to lean towards Daryl's theory on your banana bet, guys. I think that September is the dove now. You know, September being Donald. Donald starts with a D-O. You know, so does Dove. So, you know, that's, as the observers would say, that's just good math. And the observer take in my head is showing me bananas in Clint's immediate future. Sorry, pal. Anyway, that's me. Quick feedback this week, guys. Have a good Christmas. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, Corey, first of all, I think we've let that thing go to our heads a little bit. The sexy voice thing.
The Drop Dead Sexy Voice, the DDSV.
Yes.
I think AJ in London needs to call in, and they need to have like a duel of
a sexy voice off.
Sexy voice off, that's right.
Because, as you clearly saw this episode, September is Donald, and therefore cannot be logically.
I don't know why you think that one equals the other. What did you just throw into the floor?
That's how mad I am, Daryl. Corey. I didn't throw anything on the floor.
You threw your mute button in.
No, I stepped
What do you
on
call
the
those
mute button.
things, Clint, that look like this? Those little diagrams?
The Venn diagrams?
Is that a Venn diagram? Yes. Okay. So in the Venn diagram where we have September here,
yeah,
and Donald here, and we realize that they are one and the same, where those two overlap, we still have the diagram over here that is the dove. And just because these two overlap does not mean that the dove cannot also overlap completely with those two.
It does, because a smiling September with hair, having been an observer, cannot logically work from the inside and be the mole or the dove.
He can be.
Nope.
He can be.
It's Broyles.
No. It might be Broyles. Broyles was my second guess back in the day when we made the banana bet. But I'm just saying, you cannot confidently say because Donald is September that September cannot be the dove. I don't see the logic in that.
I just told you why.
Although I will also say that Corey's argument of DO equaling DO and NALD equaling VE doesn't make sense to me either.
Yeah, that DO is DOA. It's dead on arrival.
Yeah. But nonetheless, Corey, we appreciate you calling in with that. Thank you.
Dove is in the air.
Now, last week, we were a bit shortchanged by one of our callers not calling in. And
no doubt.
The fandom was expecting...
Foaming once.
Yeah, they were expecting something.
To bring the sausage.
Yeah. Well, she brought the sausage
That's
this
right.
week.
Did she?
And here it is.
Hey guys, this is Emily, aka Foamy Once, with feedback for the latest episode of Fringe, Anomaly XB blah blah blah. I gave this episode a 10 right after seeing it, and the only reason I'm not bumping it down is because it was so tremendously conceived and delivered. But last night, I really felt like we got more information than we did. You know, it took me 3 years to finally glean what I wanted out of Brown Betty, and as much as I love acid-tripping Walter, it is episodes like this one that really get to me. The contrast between the observers and the 21st century humans has been one of the messages of Season 5 that certainly must be a component to Walter's overall plan, particularly if the reemergence of September and his normal everyman look is to be taken literally. I'll try to make this quick, but we all know how well that turns out. So the first batch of truly strong emotions came from Nina after she realized she'd been compromised. Returning to the underground lab, She was terrified and probably feeling deep sorrow. At first, I couldn't figure out why Michael was so quick to show Nina his ability, but then Windmark's speech got me thinking. If the boy was a mistake, in their terms, then perhaps Michael's inability to connect with Olivia as he did before has to do with the general degradation of his physiology over time. The connection he had with Olivia doesn't seem to be there, but no matter how strong a connection is, 20 years is a long time. Honestly, I think he can't connect with Olivia because she's talking to him like a child, and he's sitting there thinking, "Woman, I'm almost 30. Stop using that voice with me." So as cruel as it was, Windmark's explanation of the boy's existence was helpful. It didn't encompass the full scope of his abilities, but it does seem clear that it exists apart from the tech. I'm a little unsure that we actually learned the full scope of his purpose in the plan, because surely it wasn't just to pump Walter full of memories. As I crawled through the clips of what Michael showed Walter, it was curious to see scenes from both timelines back to back. Why did the kid show Walter things from the previous timeline that Walter would have no connection to? Last season, I was all worried that they would have to be realigned with their previous timeline themselves before the story could move forward, but that never happened. I mean, it's possible that these memories exist for Walter in some dimension, but it's just weird. We spent so much time going back into memories, which I'm sure is part of the writer's, quote, love letter to us. But if the coexistence of the timeline scenes has nothing to do with anything, I'm going to be disappointed. Well, since you guys only gave us like 5 hours to develop and record feedback, that's all I got. But seriously, if this happens again, this next day podcast thing, I'm going to be taking my services elsewhere. Just kidding. Till next time, this is Foamy Once saying, Foamy Once, shame on you. Trust the Mayans and you will be sorely disappointed.
Excellent as always.
Yeah, that was good. You know, I'm really regretting that $40,000 loan I took out from the mob at 118% interest.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I'm going to have to find myself a giant asteroid.
That's right. Try to get it to pull into Earth. Don't do that. You'll kill me too.
It's okay.
I've got the solution for this.
You got an extra 5 days from the Mayans.
No. I've got a solution. There's some boots. They're made of cement. They're great. They work perfect in situations like this.
That's right. So if I put you in there, then you're not going to be dead and I won't have to feel bad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know, Daryl, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the precipitate.
Okay.
Chemistry joke.
I don't know why you thought I would get that. You know, I'm not sciencey.
All right. Does that mean it's it's time to read?
It's hilarious. There's like the chat room is loving that joke. I didn't even understand that was a joke, and the chat room is erupting with, "You guys are such nerds." Oh man! All right. She talked about why Michael couldn't connect with Olivia.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
Nerd humor is just subliminate with it, Daryl. Yeah, go subliminate with yourself, Dirac 6955.
Oh goodness,
whatever that means. What do you think? Why weren't they able to connect?
I don't know.
Was it because she was speaking to him as a child and he refused to be talked to that way?
You know, it is possible that he hasn't experienced that timeline yet, right? It's possible that...
No, because he said he remembered her.
Well, maybe that's his mom.
Okay.
Maybe he lied. It's something that people that have empathy do.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to make you feel better.
It's weird because last week he said that he remembered her, but he wasn't really able to communicate with them this week at first.
They are operating on a different frequency, remember?
I know, but why would he be able to say that he remembered her if they were communicating on a different frequency?
Well, he would still remember her.
But if they're communicating, it'd be like you talking to me in Chinese.
No, her brainwaves are like in the key of G compared to
A minor.
A minor, yeah. He is a minor. He is A minor. Get it? Because he's a child.
I get
and
that.
He's young.
That was sublimation at its finest.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's right. They didn't have any M&Ms.
That's
true.
That's it. The other thing that she asked, and it seems so obvious, but I didn't pick up on it, was that there were some things that he flashed to Walter that Walter wouldn't have had any memory of, because that was the blue timeline Walter? And this is Amber timeline Walter now? Namely being the memory of being with the boy back in season 1. You definitely saw that flash.
Yeah.
Now, the death of Peter, the drowning in the lake, those memories could carry over.
Right.
The William Bell taking out the brain pieces, those would carry over.
Right. But all of them meeting Peter, maybe he needed to see
all
who
of
Peter
meeting
was.
Peter, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
What will Walter do with those memories now that he has them?
I don't know.
That's a great... I can't believe neither one of us picked up on that.
Totally missed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. See, that's why I say she needs to be sitting in this chair doing this podcast.
No doubt.
All right. Excellent feedback, Emily.
That's right.
All right,
As
Clint,
usual.
you ready to read some?
Yep.
As ready as you're going to get?
Yep.
All right.
All right. I'll start off. Hey, guys. Since work made me miss the live viewing this week, I'm submitting my Bunsen burner for this episode. 9.8. Nina went out with the bangs.
She did.
Yep.
There's more.
All right. What?
There's more.
No, I have a 2-paragraph limit.
That's not really a paragraph. That's a sentence and then a line and then another sentence.
Is there a space in between the sentences?
There are.
Okay.
There is.
All right. A hard carriage return, if you will.
Yes.
Okay. Fantabulous episode. I was in awe the entire time. It's episodes like these that make this one of the best shows of all time. Well, I don't have too much to say about the episode. I would like to state that I love the callback to The Road Not Taken. There were references to other episodes as well, such as Inner Child, of course, but the glass-to-audio converter that Peter invented was great. Sad to see Nina go, but she was a sacrifice that the island demanded. I hope we don't lose too many more before the show's over, but I'm sure we will. Well, guess that's it for me, Merry Fringemas. Odd as always, the Unibeefer.
Did you get the sacrifice the island demanded? Did you get that?
Yeah, Joe versus the volcano.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was talking
Yeah.
about. Really? Joe versus the volcano? You went there?
Yeah, remember when he had to jump into the volcano to sacrifice himself?
Yes, I remember.
But because of love, it threw them back out. One of the worst movies of all time.
That's why I'm saying you went there.
Yeah.
Clint,
Which you've seen.
Yes,
But you haven't seen a Spinal Tap.
that's correct.
You saw Joe versus the volcano, but did not see Spinal Tap.
That's correct.
I have an excuse.
Do you?
Yeah.
What is your excuse?
I saw them filming Joe versus the volcano, so I wanted to see it on the big screen.
look at me, Mr. Big Pants. I saw him filming Joe versus the volcano.
And I saw Spinal Tap because I had been to Stonehenge. Which you won't get because you haven't seen the movie.
No, I won't. All right. Anyway, back to the feedback.
Boston Red Vines in the chat room says, no more deaths except Skidmark. I still think that's a great name.
I do too.
Skidmark.
I think Skidmark's great. I hope it becomes a Skidmark in the end.
And I've just decided, I know his name is Windmark. I'm going to call him Windmark.
Windmark. I liked the other day when you said Earthmark or Firemark. I liked that a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daryl. Thanks for affirming me and my jokes.
Yeah. I will listen to the podcast typically during the week, although I haven't had a chance to lately because I've been busy. But I often laugh at your jokes when I'm re-listening to it.
That's sweet.
And the one last week where you said that, Peter shot first, and then I said except from the DVD release, and then you said something else. We got several comments that it was one of those. We got an email that says, "I work in a cubicle." And you made me laugh out loud when you got to that point. Those always make my day. I'm like, yes, we embarrassed somebody at the office again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
all
goodness.
right. Anyway, thanks, Matthew, for writing in. This one comes in from Camilla. Hello, Clint and Daryl. What an episode. I'm a big fan of flashbacks, so Michael's memory touch thing was right up my alley. But before I get into much of that, I want to talk about Nina. If you remember the look on her face when Olivia called to tell her that she had been compromised, From that moment, she knew what was going to happen. She wasn't going to run. Side note, a fugitive in a wheelchair would probably be an easy target for the observers to find. She tried to hide her thoughts, but she knew that she couldn't keep Windmark out of her head. She knew that there was only one way to protect the plan, to protect the people she cared about. To hide her thoughts, she had to destroy them. She sacrificed herself for the greater good, the plan to save humanity. So even though I'm sad to see her go, I'm okay with it. And oh my, that lizard speech, how great was that? For someone without feelings, Windmark certainly looked pissed. So as I thought Michael was the anomaly, he's like an observer gone wrong. To Windmark, he was like garbage that had to be disposed of. He is no child. He is a chromosomal mistake, a genetic anomaly. Designate progeny XB-6783746. Like all anomalies, he was scheduled to be destroyed, but he went missing. This got me thinking. Back in Inner Child, the guy that took Michael made a call to someone saying, "We found another one."
Yep.
Maybe that someone was September. And if he and Walter... Okay. If he and Walter, in making their plan, figured that they needed an empath, he took some of these anomalies and sent them back through time. Then he instructed the guy to look after these bald kids and keep them safe. That would explain why September was walking outside the car with Michael in it at the end of Inner Child. And Michael is turning his head looking at September because he recognizes him. Merry Christmas, guys. Camilla. All right, Clint, what do you think? Plausible?
Yeah.
There was definitely more.
So.
I mean, she's right about the...
yeah.
Found another one.
I would say more likely that's one of the episodes that they worked on together, and they had no intention of coming back to that episode.
Uh-huh.
With the Inner Child. And then... But it's one of the ones that Joel liked, and he just came back to it.
It could be. Like they did with the Amber, they found a way to work it in later.
Right.
But I don't know if they never planned on doing something with that. Maybe Joel did something different with it than maybe they first conceived.
Yeah.
But I think it's also plausible that Michael's not the only observer anomaly that was ever rescued from being destroyed. That maybe somebody was saving them by sending them back through time. And that maybe, if September is Michael, that maybe the monthly observers are all anomalies.
That's an interesting theory.
That would put them on a different,
Yeah, I like that.
Agenda than the others.
Yep, I like that.
I don't know, just a theory, but I don't know. What's so funny?
I'm cracking up in the chat room.
More chemistry jokes that no one gets
No.
except for 5 of you guys?
No, I'm Donald the Pie says, so Mr. Wyman, who is the dove? Oh, that's just a name we tossed out and meant to develop later. We actually don't know. Why? Did he think it was important to the plot in any way? Team Coco says, so actually all Fringe fans are the dove. It's funny. And then D-Rex says, I don't think his middle name is Lindelof.
that is funny. That's funny. I think we'll get payoff on the dove, because that was a season 5 thing.
Wouldn't it be funny if there was no payoff?
Would it be funny? No. It would be frustrating.
That would be kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Because then we'd have... I mean, we'd have to do some, like, sort of weird voodoo dance to get rid of our banana bet.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Brandon says, so as you can see, you were the dove all along. You just had to look into your own eyes, with your own eyes, without using a mirror to realize the truth. Oh, funny stuff.
We all are the dove in our own special way.
It's all inside. It's inside of us all.
That's right.
It's been there the whole time.
That's right. The dove lives on inside of all of us.
Just had to click your heels together
That's
and
right.
just realize, I am the dove. I am the dove. I am the dove.
Merely look at the dove and realize there is no dove.
Oh, man. All right, well, Camilla, thank you for that. We loved Nina's going out to. Clint said it well in the last episode. They did a justice to Blair Brown and the work that she has done over the last 5 seasons by giving her a wonderful exit from the show.
Yeah.
Both in terms of what she performed and the material they gave her to perform. All right, would you like to take the next one, sir?
Yes, this one comes in. Do I want to take it? Do I have to read this whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Hi, Clint and Daryl. Got the order right and misspelled Daryl.
They did.
You get bonus points, Lisa. This comes in from Lisa in Chicago, and I've been listening to your podcast since May of 2011 and have enjoyed it immensely. For the episode Anomaly XB, I gave it 9.5. Cannot believe we only have 3 episodes left, so now I'm going to cry. Wow, in a million years, I would have never predicted that Nina, in whatever timeline or universe, would commit suicide by blowing her brains out. But what a speech she gave right beforehand. The observers are nothing more than lizards, in fact, and we humans can appreciate art, music, and love. Shows how advanced we are and have become the observers, how advanced we have become, and how the observers have pretty much regressed. Her soliloquy should be the quote of the week. Agreed. Donald of September. Well, I wasn't shocked that theory panned out, so it's confirmed that Michael is a genetic anomaly, and they also explained what happened to the other anomalies like Michael, so we know from Inner Child that there are more like him. I wonder if the observers somehow knew that they could be used to either cure or destroy them. I say cure because it looks like September was cured when he grew hair. I've been listening for the past few weeks to what everyone thinks will happen and what they want to happen and who they want to see come back. Here's my take. As much as I want to see the Redverse, that storyline is now closed. Maybe if we had another season, we could see it, but we won't. William Bell is dead or permanently in amber, and Walter will either die in battle or commit suicide. Etta is not coming back as much as we want. She is just not. Wow, that's pretty direct, wasn't it, Daryl?
Yes, it was.
That's right.
Clint.
I'm sorry. The Donald of Pie in the chat room has changed his name to You Are the Dove of Pie.
Yes, he has.
And he says, surprise, they've been in the Redverse this whole season. I'm sorry. Back to the feedback. At first, I thought the only way for the team to fix everything was that somehow a time reset would have to happen, and that way Peter and Olivia could raise Etta. But now I do not think so. I'm not sure how it would end, but I do worry that Peter, Olivia, and Astrid will be too damaged at the end of it all. They will be able to save the world, but not for them. The Fringe team knows too much, has seen too much, and experienced too much. I hope that at the end of it all, they have some way to have some peace and happiness, because unlike Frodo, there's no land of the elves for them to go off into the end. I am now also on board with Daryl Strawberry.
You added a fruit there.
September / Donald is the dove. That's the second one.
That's right.
That's the second wrong person we've had on the podcast.
Corey, Lisa are in Camp Daryl. The winning camp.
At first, I immediately thought it was Broyles, which you should have gone with your first answer, just like you should on tests. But it does not make sense. Etta brought him into the Resistance, and the dove had to have existed long before Broyles came on board.
Bam.
Also, how much can we really trust him? All of it. All of our trust.
Well, why don't you read her next sentence, and that might make you rethink that.
We know that if his family is threatened, all bets are off.
Bam.
He doesn't have a family anymore. He's old.
We don't know that. He still has a wife, probably.
I don't know. He's probably dead.
Although, no, he didn't have a wife. If this is the amber, which was the derivative of the blue,
yeah.
He actually didn't have a wife in
That's
this
right.
timeline.
There's a reason he was not working with Nina. Also, if you were a Resistance guy, would you trust someone who had been working with the Observers for over 20 years all of a sudden to be in charge? Do not think we have to worry about Scary Walter anymore. Michael fixed this. That's interesting. It's a really interesting
possible.
theory that he injected those memories to bring normal Walter back.
Yeah. That would be cool because Nina's dead and the brain piece was going to be risky anyway.
Yeah.
So that would be cool if he fixed him.
I think we're now working with the original recipe, Walter. Well, that is it for now. Just remember, love conquers all, except for death and horrible writing. Oh, I added those last two.
And bad chemistry jokes.
No, love conquers those two, Daryl.
Does it?
I'm still sitting here. That's proof.
You're actually, assuming that I have some love for you.
You do, or else I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
At 11:18.
It is 11:18.
Yeah.
Okay. So we kind of talked about that as we went through it. I don't think she changed either of our minds on the dove. It's just known that she's also right.
Wrong.
About the dove.
I think you mean wrong.
I like what she had to say about Michael's brain fix on Walter.
I like that too.
Although, last week at the end of the Black Blotter episode, we said that Walter seeing the kind of the hubris-filled Walter at the end of the episode led to him being that guy now. And he was very much that guy, but he wasn't completely that guy in this episode. So we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out if his memories are fixed now after what Michael did to him. But I would like to think that that's the case. That would be cool.
Yeah. All right, Lisa,
All right.
thank you for that. Next time, send it in an audio format. Just kidding.
Thank you, Lisa.
Sort of.
No, he's not. All right. Let's get back to the audios with Jenny.
Hi, guys. It's Jenny in San Diego. I just watched the episode again, and I think the most significant thing I noticed was when the boy put his hand on Walter's face and essentially showed Walter two scenarios of Peter's existence. And I think Peter's existence will be essential to the end of the series. And I think because I think them defeating the observers is going to be literally wiping them out of existence. Maybe I think they're going to show, remember how they haven't told us yet why there's no female observers? Well, I think they're going to show us how the observers come to fruition. How do they evolve? They talked about the boy being an anomaly. So they must evolve in some way. So maybe they'll figure out how to de-evolve them. But then that leaves us, okay, so if the observers never existed, then Peter doesn't exist in our timeline or the prior timeline or whatever, because he survives in the Altverse. Walter is never interrupted, and he sees the cure, and our Olivia never meets him. There's probably no Fringe division because Walter never crossed over. It's just a whole bag of worms. So I don't know how they're gonna do this, except for the fact that maybe the clue is in the titles of the finale. The first one being I think it's Liberty, and then the second one is An Enemy of Fate, and maybe that An Enemy of Fate episode is going to be basically maybe retrieving Peter, getting him and Olivia back together, despite the fact that Peter was born in the alternative universe, and I think that we will go back there, which I'm really excited about. But what if he's with full Olivia or whatever? I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think it was a great episode. Blair Brown did such an amazing job, and her death, wow, I definitely teared up major time. So and I really think that when the boy put his hand on her face, maybe he showed her dying. So and that's why she was so shocked by it. Anyway, it's late. You guys have a great holidays. It's going to be a long 3 weeks, but I think it's going to go fast because it is the holidays, and we're all going to get sucked into that subterfuge. So take care, and goodbye from California.
All right. Thanks, Jenny.
All right. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah, the break will go by fast because of all the activities most of us will be
enduring.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah. What do you think that he showed Nina when he touched her face?
I think he showed her the other timeline. Same thing he did with Walter.
Yeah, just kind of revealing who he was.
Yeah.
Do you think that Walter realized he was Donald, but if he is also Peter or something like that, do you think that September is also, I want to make sure I said that right. September is also Donald, but if there's more there, do you think Walter realizes the fullness of that?
Walter's a sharp guy.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, probably so.
Probably more so than we do.
Yeah, I'm thinking that he revealed to Nina who he truly was. Yeah. Although, I mean, her thought of him revealing to Nina her death, I mean, that could be the case as well. And gave her courage, of what was about to come, maybe. Maybe he's showed her a future that they would accomplish through her death.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I think he's just an empath.
Yeah.
I don't think he can see or predict the future.
Unless he's from the future and he knows the outcome.
Unless he's seen it. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Anything else from there you want to talk about?
No.
Yeah. All right, Jenny, thank you so much. Let's move on to John.
Hi, this is John, Direct6955. Just got through watching the episode tonight. The title is so long I can't recall it, but it's the one where Nina gave her all. I wasn't going to give any Bunsen burners for this, but I think I got to give it the highest rating I ever did, 10 out of 10. And that also goes for the producers and the writers to have the courage to do something that brave. It really grabbed me. I didn't feel this like with Etta. I mean, Nina was always fundamental, part of the core team. I can't even muster a theory how they could save her, but Blair is outstanding, and I'm just kind of in shock. Wow. It's a pretty good episode. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye.
It was. I mean, it I hate to say this about a character committing suicide.
Yeah.
But it did. It felt right, and I think it did justice to her character.
Yeah.
It was shocking. It had the right amount of emotional punch.
Yep.
With Etta dying, it felt abrupt and wrong and obtuse.
I don't know if it felt obtuse or not, but I think it felt abrupt and wrong, and that was on purpose.
Yeah, but not in a good way. This felt right. It felt like Nina redeemed herself, sacrificed herself to save the team, and got in a couple of good zingers with the observers beforehand.
I agree. But I think Etta's death, feeling the way that it did, help the audience put them in the emotional state that Peter and Olivia were in.
Yeah.
You can tell he called that in right after the episode was still in shock about her death.
Yeah.
I do love this suggestion we got in the chat room about what the Observer Boy might have shown Nina. Trying to find it again so I can figure out who to
Bad Woebot.
Was it Bad Woebot?
Yes.
He showed her the flashback of her kissing Broyles.
Philip and I had a love at one time.
Yes.
That's all I need to know. I don't know much,
but I know I loved him.
And that may be all I need to know.
All right, well, let's get back to the feedbacks with
Look
Comey.
at his head.
Hey guys, this is Comey from Savannah.
It's really balding.
Podcast. Really like this episode. Give it an 8.5 out of 10. Excellent reveal with September being Donald. I have to say I had my suspicions, and I think September was my prime suspect. However, I couldn't reconcile the fact that Donald had hair with September being an observer and not having hair. So kudos to the two callers from last week who got it right on the money and were strong enough with their convictions to come on air and say that September was Donald, which I don't think a lot of people would have guessed, but excellent reveal, and I really liked it. Sad to see Nina go, but she sacrificed herself for the greater good, which for all the shady things that she might have done throughout the entire series. I think she made up for it by sacrificing herself so our heroes can complete their mission and save the rest of the human race. One thing I really liked was it seems that we've gotten our old Walter back with the bald-headed kid unlocking his memories from the past timelines, from the timeline from season 1, 2, and 3, which I'd like to see how that jives with the rest of the season. I think that means that maybe Walter will not regress to the Walter that was before he had the brain matter removed from his head. Back to September. With September being Donald, kind of makes me feel that maybe September is no longer the bald-headed kid, but I had an interesting thought that maybe the bald-headed kid is September's child. I don't know. Anyway, really good episode. Looking forward for the rundown to the finale, and I'd like to see how this series ends up. Cannot wait, and I enjoy the ride. I'm going to miss the show. We got 3 episodes left. Sad times, but also it's good that it gets to go out on its own merit with actually a true finale. The only other show that I know that's had a true finale would be Battlestar Galactica. Anyway, guys, take care. Enjoy the podcast. Bye.
Yes, I agree.
What about Lost? It got a true finale.
No, it didn't. They just left it off after the bomb went off.
Yeah.
We don't even know what happened to Juliet.
That. Yeah. You should remind me one of these days to tell you about The Flash Sideways.
What's that?
It's season 6 of Lost that you think doesn't exist.
What?
Yeah.
They haven't made season 6.
Jack's on an airplane. His neck is bleeding.
Huh?
Charlie's there.
Oh, Charlie's there. He was dead.
Yeah. He got undrowned because it was Penny's boat.
What?
No, it still wasn't, actually.
I give up on Lost.
Let's see. Comey, what all did he have to say there? There was a point. I didn't write it down. This is why I have notes to take things down on, and I didn't do it.
I know. You know, when the boat was falling through the water and about to crush Charlie.
Okay.
And remember how in the show he was swimming in a straight line and couldn't swim to the right or to the left?
No.
Oh, wait, that was Prometheus. Sorry.
Yeah, let's not talk about Prometheus. Disappointing movie of the year. Gosh, what did Comey talk about? We got so far off track.
Yeah, Donald being September, that was awesome.
Yeah, he gave kudos to Interdimensional Dave and Chip, which neither one of them called, at least not by the deadline. I haven't checked to see what all came in after I was able to look at it this afternoon, because I know we had some that came in, but...
They're both very sharp.
Yeah.
And they're not gloaters.
I would be.
But they're not. They're not like that.
I'd be calling and saying, hey, Daryl, you want to get on my island now, sucker?
They're not like that. They're just... They have that inner confidence.
Yeah.
That neither one of us have, or else we would be podcasting.
Maybe that's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Comey, thank you for calling in. Sorry I didn't take notes on your call. I feel a little bad about that. Let's move on to Cy.
Louis.
Hello, Clinton Daryl. This is Cy from Washington State, replying to the Fringe episode Anomaly blah. Yes, I'm also going to need a catchy jingle to remember that, and also touch on some points from last week's episode Black Blotter. I found through the Bunsen Burner Facebook page an interview with John Noble where he actually confirmed that my interpretation of Nina was entirely wrong, and she actually was the angel on his shoulder. Well, I can eat some humble pie on that. To kind of bridge the gap between the two episodes, certain Bunsen burners listening and responding to this podcast have been saying that the show has been moving very slowly considering how many episodes the season has, and I would be inclined to agree somewhat, the recordist being particularly egregious in this regard. But for everyone who has been complaining what happened at the end of this episode, here's your big reveal, here's your information dump, and wow, with September being Donald, I'm wondering if who the dove is even relevant anymore at this point. That having been said, I give the episode 8 causes worth dying for, referring to Nina, of course. It it was interesting to see what she had discovered about the observers, and it was interesting to see the observers' investigation and to see Walter's deterioration and his splitting into the old Walter. And I know they had to do it, but just something in the flow of the episode just didn't do it for me and deducted a few points. But I have to say I really did like the episode and the insight we got into the observers and the reveal at the end. So, peace and keep it nerdy.
Peace.
He used your sign off. You want to go first?
No.
No?
No.
Well, he talked about is the dove even relevant anymore? And that's a fair question, but I think we've talked about it a lot tonight. A lot of the listeners have talked about it tonight. And I think that because the mystery of Donald has been solved, I think that has renewed enthusiasm on if we're going to get the dove solved or not. You know what I mean? Because we haven't really talked about the dove a whole lot before this week.
No, that's
And the
true.
dove wasn't even mentioned this week.
Not at all.
So why is everyone talking about the dove this week? I think it's because
we got the Donald.
Yeah, so the dove is the next big mystery that's been brought up this season. One of them, I guess. But he's right. It may not be relevant at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and it may have just been mentioned in passing, and
Yeah.
we may never get it.
It's true. I don't think so. I don't know why they would have brought it up, but although they did, I was going through old notes today, and because honestly, we when we went through the Bunsen burners, there was a lot of people giving it up to me in there and stuff. I'm like, what all do they think that I got right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't predict that Donald was the dove, or Donald was September.
Right.
I predicted half-heartedly that Sam Weiss was Donald.
Yeah.
I did predict that we would see Michael Cerverus in September.
And that's
this
something
season.
you and I have argued about
Right.
a lot.
And we even argued in the last podcast on
Right.
whether or not I get credit for that, even in this episode.
Right.
And of course, there was the guy being named Daryl in the episode, too. So that was cool. So I'm not sure why they were giving me so much credit, but I went back and was listening to several of our old podcasts today, so looking through all of our old notes to see what is it they were actually thinking that I said that maybe I said or didn't say, because I don't remember everything that I say. And in that, I remembered
True words
a
were never
note.
spoken.
I found a note about big guy number 11 or something like that. Big guy number 13.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was in the episode where they captured the loyalist and tortured
Right.
him.
Or when they found Simon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there have been other things that we haven't necessarily given as much attention to as we have the dove. And they all could be meaningless by the end of the season.
Yes, or they all could be critical.
Right.
We just don't know.
We don't know.
I'm telling you, if we can get an actual observer origin story,
yeah,
find out about the female observers, and a clean ending. I'm not saying a happy or a sad ending, just
Yeah.
a clean one, where we get an actual ending instead of we lied to you for an entire season. I'll be happy.
Yeah, and I there's a lot of ways that could still happen.
Yeah.
You know. And I'll also say, Cy, you called in and included the part where last week you talked about Nina and how that was proven wrong with the video that was put out this week. We were just talking about how Chip and Interdimensional Dave aren't the kind of guys that would call in and say, booyah, in your face. You know, you're the kind of guy that says, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I'll eat some humble pie and call in and admit that. So, you know what? Kudos to you, too, for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just acted like you never said that sort of thing.
I never admit when I'm wrong.
Well, that never happens.
That's true.
You believe what you say.
That's right.
All right. One more feedback for tonight. This one comes in from an international listener named Louis.
Louis.
Hey guys, my name is Louis and I live in Denmark. And I actually don't want to say anything about Black Blotter or Anomaly XB. I want to say something about the episode 5/2010. Here the other day I rewatched the episode Jacksonville from season 2. And there's a scene where they have to gain access to the daycare center in Jacksonville. And there's a code that Walter has to press to gain access to open a door. and the code is 52010. And Walter tells Olivia and Peter that he can't remember the purpose of the code, but Bill always used it. I don't know if this is something we're going to hear more about in the future, or if it's just a fun Easter egg, but I think you should go back and rewatch Jacksonville to watch that scene again, because it's pretty interesting. Well, that was all. I enjoy your podcast, and I'm looking forward to see more, or hear more episodes, and see more episodes of Fringe. So, as you always say, keep it nerdy.
Man, two people have stolen the sign off.
Yeah,
that's
they
good,
must
though.
like yours better than mine.
That's true.
That's right. I don't mind being the only guy that uses Stay Fringe-tastic.
Stay Fringe-tastic.
Yeah.
We got Happy Fringemas. That's kind of like, it's like the Christmas version.
It is.
Of Stay
You could
Fringe-tastic.
say that, yeah.
Well, thank you for calling in, Louis.
Yeah, Louis, that's cool. And we had talked about that, but that's one of those things that's easily overlooked, and it's a cool little Easter egg for the show. And
Very cool.
Glad to have you listening from Denmark.
Yep.
So keep sending in your observations. We very much appreciate it.
Your observations. All right. What do you say we get into a little bit of monkey business?
All right. Called Twinge.
Oh.
Same thing. Boom.
All right. This week's Twinge question, somewhat short-lived, but we still got a lot of responses.
Okay, cool.
The early Twinge poll of the week was, is Donald alive? Because they had mentioned in a previous episode, which we didn't really talk about.
That's true. That he was thought to be dead.
That he was thought to be dead.
Or they had heard that he was dead.
Yes. He's only mostly dead.
That's right.
Will we see him again in a major way? Trivial Matter says absolutely Donald will be seen again along with the Redverse. Certain their help or a VHS item needed will be located there. Lou Ferrigno says we will see him in infomercials for the Hair Club for Men.
Nice.
That's right. Weezer Air says, with a smile like that, we will surely see Donald September again. Total bromance.
Nice.
I'm Donald Apai says, not only am I alive, but I also have hair. If you think that's major, just wait until you hear me break out into Evita songs. He does have some pipes.
Yeah, he does.
HT Wheels Glue Guns says, gosh, I hope so. Maybe he's in an alternate universe.
Okay.
Shukriya 2 says, he must be alive. He's jumping through timelines, searching for a way to stop the observers. We'll see him again in the next episode. Do you think he's just chilling till the next episode?
I don't know where he is or where he's been this the whole time, but I think we'll see. I see him. That's a good question. Unless he's dead, which is the point of the question.
Yeah.
How's that for a non-answer?
I like it. I was wondering if anybody got my my Snoop Dogg Dr. Dre reference.
Oh, no.
No?
I didn't.
Okay. That's too bad. Little Fringy says he will definitely play a major role in defeating the observers, but whether or not he's alive, I don't know. I hope so. Captain Trips takes a more direct approach and says, of course we will, you fools. Also,
Okay.
please note that he was not the dove. Booyah.
Yet. That's neither been confirmed nor denied.
Giminator says, if he's September, then we've already seen him in every season so far. Isn't time travel fun?
Yes.
That's true. Jovial Falcon says, yes, hostage of observers since captured outside of the mine, or he got wiped. Please, no flashback deaths. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Cortexatron says, I'm going to say no. Walter said it was unfortunate what happened to him. Either he quit being an observer or was killed off.
Okay.
Angela Ice says, I sincerely hope Donald is alive, but I just don't know at this point. Maybe he's behind the Edda Resist posters.
That's cool.
That's a great theory.
I like that.
Yes. MTF3 says yes. In fact, I think he plays a major role in getting them access to the Redverse.
Oh.
Lots of Redverse coming into play here.
People are wanting it. We only have 3 episodes left to get it.
I'm going to say no on the Redverse.
Yeah.
Dharma Lady says yes, Donald is alive and we'll see him play a huge role in the ending, but creepy to see him with hair and a smile. Android Omega says Donald was shot and killed as September. He was recruited somehow by Walter and sent back as September. What if loyalists, like there's an observer factory and they get turned into observers if they've been really good loyalists? That's how they're being rewarded.
It's possible.
I like that idea.
It's possible. I say no. But
No?
It seems plausible.
Okay. Donald is a person who put tech into his head to become the Observer September, who is not alive in 2036. That's an interesting theory.
That's what I posited. I didn't say they're not alive in 2036, but I said that he was this guy that was living in the future and made himself into an observer, and took on the limitations of not having emotion, came back to save them.
Yeah, see, I thought you meant that he had been September, got cured, and then went back.
No.
What you're saying is Donald pulled a Peter. He put the tech in his head.
Right.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
Makes a lot more sense. All right. And finally, KennaWolf23, Mr. Chip himself, says, of course he is somehow. Wait. Define alive.
He's only mostly dead.
But hey, we called his true identity weeks ago. Woot.
Oh, there he is.
There
giving
he
it
is.
to himself.
That's right.
All those kind things we said about
we take all of the nice things we said back.
Okay. You're as ego-driven as the rest of us, Chip.
Okay, maybe just some of them.
You're in good company.
That's right. All right, and that's it for this week's Twinge question.
Interesting question. Good responses.
Yeah, we got some good responses. Next week's, not next week's, but next episode's.
Be the last one.
Will be the last
of all time.
That's
sad.
That
dude.
is sad.
It is sad. Yeah.
It's really sad.
So we're getting close to the finale, so that means we're getting close to the finale party. We want you guys to be a part of it. It's going to be a great time. I was talking to Michael Purcell over at Global Cash Card this week, and it was kind of funny. We were talking about the party, and I don't know yet what their involvement with it will be, but I told him, I said, here's the party. It's getting together with some of the best, most diehard, most loyal, passionate Fringe fans, and just watching the final episode together and having a fun evening about it. I said the most fun I ever had watching Lost. We were setting up a new store. I don't even know what city it was in. It was Lost night, and some of the guys wanted to go out and get some food and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? It's Lost night. I'm watching Lost, and several of the others were like, actually, I'd like to watch Lost too. So there was like 6 or 8 of us that went down to the big screen TV in the lobby and watched Lost together. We had a great time, and then during the commercials, we were theorizing and having just a great time. It was the most fun I ever had watching Lost because we all got to watch and water cool at the same time. And that's kind of what we get with our chat room each week. But that's what the Fringe finale party is going to be like, too. And he said, funny you should say that, and he recounted almost exact same story that he had when he was out at a convention, and it was Lost night one time.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's just that the Fringe finale party is just going to be hanging out with a bunch of Fringe fans, people that we're friends with because we've been part of this community together for the last 5 years, and watching our favorite show end on a high note. So
that's right.
We'd love for you guys to be a part of that. Come to Oklahoma City, watch it with us. Go over to thefringepodcast.com/party and get all of the details there. Like I mentioned in the last podcast, if it turns out you voted in the poll and you're not going to be able to come, let us know. Make a comment on that page or send us an email and let us know so we can not expect you to be there. Because right now our numbers are way off from what we were expecting, so we're just trying to see what's going on.
Which is fine. We certainly understand.
Absolutely.
I will say 2 things. The friendships that you make at this party, now that the Mayan apocalypse is over, could be friendships that you maintain for the rest of your life.
It could be. That's
and
true.
Daryl will be giving out free hugs to everyone.
That's probably true, too. I don't mind hugging people.
And if Little Hill, with the L's as ones, except for the first one, just capitalizes there, he's getting double hugged.
Oh.
Just saying.
That'd be fun.
Just saying, 2 hugs.
That'd be fun. 2 hugs are better than 1.
That's right.
Yep. So far, Boston Red Vines is asking how many people are going. So far, we have about a dozen people signed up, which is quite a bit different from 74, which is why I'm mentioning that. So,
yeah,
we want as many people as possible. It'd be great. It'd be fun.
Yes, and if you can't make it, you should be ashamed of yourself. No, just kidding.
Crawl into a pocket universe.
Friendships. I love it.
That's right. Friendships.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, but we wanted to provide our contact information. If you want to call in feedback, you can call it at 304-837-2278. You can also use our voice thing, which is called Half Pipe, on the Fringe Podcast website.
You do realize that's like your Astrid of the show, right?
What?
You have a different name for it each week, and they're always wrong. Makes me wish we'd had that 5 years ago to see how many you could have come up with
that many.
Yeah.
You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Golden Spider Media, SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Golden Spider Media. Of course, get the latest information on anything we'll be doing over the short hiatus at our Twitter account at GSM Podcast. Go sign up for our party. Partying, yeah. Also, I know that Christmas is over, but you can sponsor just by buying stuff that you want. You get money for Christmas. You get money for Hanukkah. Go check out our website, thefringepodcast.com/support. Click on the link on Amazon or ThinkGeek or Hulu or whatever you want to spend it on. Go through the website. We get like about 9 cents for every $100 you spend or something like that.
But 9 cents
That's
helps.
right. That's enough to feed a poor Daryl for a month.
That's right. I ate 1 bean a day.
That's right. His belly's all swollen from the dysentery. No?
Clint. If only that were the reason
That's
my
right.
belly was swollen.
We can't even afford Sally Struthers to come in here and tell you to support children. But on that note, thank you guys for tuning in and being with us on an odd night.
Yes.
Until next time.
Stay Fringe-tastic.
And keep it nerdy.
The Fringe Podcast and Golden Spiral Media are not associated with Bad Robot Productions, Warner Brothers, or Fox. Golden Spiral Media's use of any and all copyrighted material is only for parody, news analysis, critique, or educational purposes as provided within United States Code Title 17, aka Fair Use. For advertising opportunities, our live show, and other Golden Spiral Media podcast productions, visit goldenspiralmedia.com. Copyright 2012, Golden Spiral Media.